It is the inequality in some sense that bothers people, but with regards to leftist policies is that they actually underestimate the severity of the problem of inequality. And they assume that restructuring capitalism would remove inequality. And there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that that has ever worked in any...
Dude, no one, I don't understand why people always do this. I mean, I do understand why, because no one knows what the fuck socialism is or Marxism is. And then there's also people on the side that where they claim to be Marxist that don't even know what the fuck it is. So they like literally say, no, it's actually about creating the equity, like full blown. It's about creating like a full blown equal outcome process or whatever the fuck, when it's not actually about that at all. Okay. Holy shit. So then Jordan Peterson could get away with saying all this dumb shit, or he was going to say all this dumb shit regardless. Okay. Obviously, there is still going to be hierarchies, okay? It is an understandable thing that there will be some level of inequality, but it's about solving some of the underlying material problems, okay? It's about solving some of the underlying material problems so that there is a base level of material equality. This is the thing that liberals have been able to so successfully co-opt. Liberals always say equality of opportunity, okay? Liberals always say equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. Jordan Peterson says equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. When the fuck have we ever had equality of opportunity, dumbass? We haven't. We just have not. We've never had equality of opportunity, okay? That's never happened. You can't say there is equality of opportunity when the zip code that you were fucking born into is the single greatest indicator of what your fucking, how much money you're going to have by the time you're dead, okay? It's the single greatest indicator that, of when you're going to fucking die. It's the single greatest indicator that what kind of level of education you're going to get. Jesus fucking Christ. The only equality that you ever experience is the top of the hour ad break. And even then, if you haven't subscribed, then you're not going to... I mean, if you haven't subscribed, you're going to see the ad 100%, okay? But if you haven't subscribed, then maybe you live in a country where there's not ads being served, okay? But the great equalizer in that circumstance is a Twitch Prime, which is free. Or maybe you have $5, or maybe you got lucky and you got gifted a fucking sub by what's his face, Jarrett, with the 5 gifted subs. Okay? But here's the ad break now. Anyway, the point I was making though, before I fucking sidelined here, before I got sidetracked, was it is fucking insane to say that there is equality of opportunity in the United States of America when we have so many systemic inequalities built in to our everyday existence. Okay. Number one being class. And then that same level of inequality also exists at a higher scale when you look at the global economy as well. Bruce Booker, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Restructuring capitalism absolutely worked to reduce poverty in Sweden, Germany, and Norway, and there's proof of it. Proof is the data on those economies. These countries have all restructured capitalism. Also, yes, leftists don't want to restructure capitalism. They just don't want capitalism at all. They want to restructure the global economy in a way that does not create the outcomes that we are seeing, where we basically exist under the dictatorship of the bourgeois class, but instead have a bottom-up approach to the economy where there is a dictatorship of the proletariat, the tyranny of the majority, if you will. Okay? You know, democracy in theory and also in action. Now, there are different methods of reaching that point. Okay? But ultimately, it's just democracy, if you want to talk about it in the most reductive terms possible. But yes, inequality is increasing in the Nordic model due to neoliberal reforms, because neoliberal reforms in a capitalist society is always going to happen. If you have a society that hasn't solved the market problem, or if you have a society that hasn't solved class contradictions and class conflict, and instead simply hit it with like robust social safety nets and welfare reform, okay, or a big welfare state, then you're only extending the capitalist mode of commodity production. You're not actually solving that problem. You're not addressing inequality. Now, in that delicate equilibrium, the other side is always going to win out. The side with more money and more power and more access is always going to end up getting their way. Anyway, let's keep going on this.
Other than the opposite, because inequality is not a consequence of capitalism. It looks like it's almost like a physical property of reality itself.
Inequality is not a result of capitalism. I mean, I think what Jordan Peterson is going to say is like inequality exists in nature, right? He's going to say like lobsters, blah, blah, blah. Like that it's like it has like a physical property. Like inequality is, it's the most baby fucking choice ever. I mean, it's the most baby take ever. Here, I'll do it for you. Look at the NBA. Some people are 7 feet tall. Some people are not. Not every fucking 5 foot person is going to be able to play in the NBA. Liberals, or rather, sorry, communists want to destroy the structure within the NBA and make sure that 5-footers are actually playing within the NBA. That's not how this works. Right? And like, that's not the fucking point. The point is, for example, like with the players union, whoever the fuck has been able to make it into the NBA gets a larger percentage of the fucking profits that they are creating for their team owners, okay? For their team. That's it. That's what Marxism is about. And obviously, that is only a simple part of socializing a certain aspect of commodity production, and you need to expand beyond just the players with their player unions and actually distribute profits evenly to those who work at every step of the process, every step of that fucking that service being performed, right? All the way down to the guys who are fucking handing out the tickets or checking your tickets and shit. All right? But the real dangerous part of conservative reactionary rhetoric, like the one Jordan Peterson is engaging in here, is that claiming that inequality is a natural phenomena, especially under a capitalist society, implies that there is like a genetic predisposition to, being born poor. And that, I don't need to go further into that. I think you know exactly what that is. You might dance around that issue. You might dance around that subject. You might make it seem as though that's not what I'm saying. I do not have a racist bone in my body. But no, you are engaging in eugenics. You are engaging in racism and racist takes. And claiming that the people that are wealthy deserve to be wealthy and are not a product of their material conditions, but rather because, they were just better. They were go-getters.
There are physicists who model the unequal distribution of money using the same equations they use to describe the dispersion of gas into a new environment. Like, it's really something fundamental. It can't be overstated. And
dude, this is bananas. Okay, first of all,
see these hogs in your front yard.
Naturalistic fallacies are immediately and so incredibly easy to fucking destroy. Our nature as humans is to ultimately overcome nature. Okay? If you are able to look as red as you currently do, recovering from your fucking benzo addiction, speaking into a goddamn microphone, it's because of centuries of straight up dominating, putting our dick into nature over and over and over again. Okay? So trying to say that like wealth distribution is a natural phenomena that you can observe in the world is not actually saying anything. You have to then justify why that's appropriate. Because we have seen nature and we have fucked it. We have fucked it over and over and over again. And that's precisely why I can communicate to, 39,000 of you through this goddamn microphone. Because we fucked nature, okay? We overcame it. This idea that like, something is natural and therefore it's right is psychotic. Okay?
As flex.
It's a real problem, right? Because who the hell wants terribly poor people? Like, that's such a catastrophe. But it's not like it's a consequence of capitalism. It's like, come on, guys.
The other thing about inequality, let's look at the following math problem. If you and I are the sole citizens of country X, you make $50,000 a year and I make $100,000 a year. Well, there's a delta between us of $50,000. Now let's both double our income. Now you make $100,000 and I make $200,000. Well, holy crap, inequality just doubled because now there's the $100,000 delta. So it's just not always what people think. Like, I don't.
Wow, that was awesome. Dude, that was brilliant. That's crazy. Dan Crenshaw solved it, dude. That's really good. He solved it. This is what no theory does to a motherfucker, bro. I swear to God.
The revolution will not be silent, has raid.
Okay, this is what no theory does to a motherfucker. Instead of like engaging in, I don't know, how commodities are produced and how that reflects on our attitudes and how society's organized, it's like, you make $100,000, I make $50,000 in Coconut Island where we both live, as Chatter said. Okay? And now magically it increased, it doubled. But guess what? Inequality doubled too. Fucking owned, dude. That's right. You just got fucking owned, baby. Why are people saying Vosh? Oh, Coconut Island is a Vosh meme or something? One of the chatters pointed that out. I lost brain cells listening to that.
I don't care that there's a lot of people who are way, way wealthier than me. That doesn't necessarily bother me. What would bother me is if I have no chance of ever being them. If I was the most talented, smartest person.
Dog, you're literally born into you were born in Scotland to a fucking potentially CIA. Don't know if that's the case or not, but real sussy oil engineer guy who lived in like, Latin America for your entire childhood, Latin American countries or your entire childhood. Like, you, of course, did have the opportunity to go to Tufts and did go and actually fucking get an MBA or a master's in public policy, I think, or something from Harvard. You had that opportunity because you were already in the upper crust. Okay? It's so stupid to assume that like everyone else had that exact same fucking beginning.
Has raid gigahas from each according to his ability, to each according to
on the
his
planet.
needs.
It would bother me if I had no chance of ever being that person. I'm sorry, but that's just not the world we live in. If we look at what keeps you out of poverty, and I think this is from the Brookings Institute, there's like 3 things. It's like finish high school, have a job, any job, and don't have kids before you're married, and you've got like a 97% chance of not being in poverty.
I want to die, dude. This is like the age old. This is such an old conservative meme. These motherfuckers never actually like update their talking points. First of all, that's not what the Brookings Institute is saying. The Brookings Institute is not making a normative statement, okay? They're not even talking about causation on that study. That's correlation and is descriptive. Okay? They're stating that here is what we have examined in people. Here is what we have examined in people that are not in abject poverty. Okay? That does not mean that if you follow that, you are not going to be in abject poverty. That's the method. You are refusing to analyze any sort of fucking structural inequality. And even in that study, if I'm not mistaken, that study, wasn't that to show that like race plays a significant role in actually stopping you from reaching that level regardless? I will never forget how dumb Glassman made Brandon Shaw look when he asked about Jordan Peterson. Even by the way, the Brookings Institute is a liberal institution, but even then, they weren't saying this is how you avoid poverty. That's what Republicans that's what Republicans have turned that into. Okay. Jubilee video: 6 small meats versus 1 giant meat from Brian the Leader. I'm not watching that.
Poverty. So it turns out we do live in a society where choices matter and the value that you provide matters. And that's the society we want to live in. Is it perfect? No. Is it the best we can do? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. And should we have a safety?
Yeah, no, it's not. And you're fucking delusional. Sorry, the best society we can do is one where, like, you know, you will. The best society is one where, you know, you can undergo medical bankruptcy because you got fucking sick. Sorry. Best society is one where, you know, your boss can just fucking absolutely fire you for no reason whatsoever. Sorry. No other way to live, dude. I mean, there's other societies right there, bro. Look across the fucking pond, dumbass. Even then, like, I hate being the fucking social democracy Andy here, but, like, look north. There are better societal formations that are literally right around us, okay? They have their own problems too. There are plenty of problems to solve there as well. But to just close your fucking eye and say, hey, there's no other way to live, this is the best way to live, you're a psycho.
Safety net for those who just can't make it. Yeah, there should be a safety net.